Hi guys, Retro Tech Ralph here again. Caught me in the middle of the Spectrum Plus 2A, shall we say. I'm cleaning the keyboard, so you can tell there's obviously we've got the F key missing. That's going to be, I'll find something for that maybe at a later date. But took the keyboard out, took the back off. There's a load of plastic clips. You just need to gently push through and then slowly prise up a little bit. Take this layer off, that layer, and it comes straight off. It's these plastic tabs here, so it's not too difficult. There's no screws holding this on anyway. Once you're down to this level, the membrane, once it sticks in the back of there, it's a bit crusty. I think I need to get that good clean or replace that one completely, but I'm not entirely sure what just yet. So then you're down to the keyboard. Every one of the keys, if you notice there, if I push this one here, there's a tab there and a tab there. You need to push them in a little bit while still trying to hold on to things. They need to be pushed inwards as best you can. Now, when it comes out, there's a spring behind it, which they're obviously old anyway, so they're going to need a bit of cleaning. So when I reassemble, spring will go on, then that will go, and then just push back into place very easily. That's the number 7 key, which doesn't go there. It goes up here. I said, well, that's not a 7, is it? Yeah. Oh, there's an L. Oh, it's an L. Nearly. So, I'm going to clean them. I'm not bothered about small springs inside there, they're perfectly fine. But the larger springs, a lot of them are rusted. So straight into vinegar. So we'll have a look, we'll see what we can do. Just stop the video there for a second, but if you can see, there's a lot of bubbling going off on here. Let's stop now. Now I've moved it. It's obviously everything is doing its job. I'm not putting my fingers in there because I'll get look stinking like vinegar. I don't want that just yet. Yeah, make sure they're just in there. I'll leave them for a while anyway to get rid of all the rust. But I guarantee you by the time I get back into that, it'll be... They are. They're getting on this, if you can see it. There you go. It's doing its job alright, isn't it? The acid's corroding the metal quite well. Well, the rust hopefully. Really good that. So that's showing it's working. Now I've got a bigger one for the space bar, a thinner one for the enter bar. So this is where it all goes horribly wrong. Now I'll assume all three of these, actually they're not. The extended mode is a shorter wire. The way it all goes wrong is I lose everything. So if you do this yourself, it looks like the enter and both the shifts, well, your cap shifts, are the same length. Yeah, a lot different length there. So they're in a different length to the spacebar and your extended mode. That's a note for me for later. So I'll get on with this, get these washed, and get back to you. Right then, reassembly can start. Right, this part of the plastic's main bit where all the keys go into, that's fully clean. It's quite flexible plastic really, so it's not rigid. Back's cleaned, the membrane's clean, which will go inside here, but I need to put the keys in with these spring parts anyway, these. So let's get on with doing that, because it's actually still bubbling this, but I think what's bubbling is the rust at the bottom. But these all look a nice black shade now anyway, so all the rust is gone. So I need to drain the vinegar, get them a good washing, and then start full reassembly onto the keyboard and get that put back together again. There you have it. Springs are washed. Look at a really nice black colour these. Really, really good. Quite impressed. Right, always be careful. If you're going to do this yourself, just be aware that some of these will be, yeah, that this sprung round each other. So just carefully take them off as you're doing them. So my first job is keys. I always love the keys. I'll be on a tray over here. They're all nicely dried as well. So I'm going to get this lid out. Try and get them out. Do them being the other way around. And let's start reassembly, shall we? Right, here we go. Right, it's virtually all back together. I've noticed I've not put this spring in here, or it's just popped out anyway. That just simply goes in. Like, press the key down and just force it in. Goes behind the key parts there, and then clips in there, so that's fine. I've actually had a problem with the D. You notice that I'd stopped. I had a problem, yeah. I think I've bent one of the edges round a little bit, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of faffing with that. Glue that down. Make sure the glue's dry and then put it back in place. I think I must have just got it out in alignment. I'm going to put it in and then just broke that tab. So let me get on with doing that, then we can reassemble the rest of the keyboard. Right. Quick cut there. Everything's done now. The D's in place, that's glued back in properly, spring underneath. Everything else is done. Obviously we're missing the F key, I'll have to find later. Put the membrane on and put the metal part back on again. I'm going to try and see if it is fine, this membrane. It looks okay. There's no reason why it shouldn't work, but there's no reason why it should. Plus we're still missing a power supply anyway, so we can't even power this thing up once it's been done. So let's go with something else now. What have we got to do? I think cleaning that board up, and I need to re-clean this base as well, because these parts hadn't come off at all when I cleaned it. If I get a damn good scrubbing, or even put it in a dishwasher, I'll lose that quite a lot anyway, so I still need to be careful. 2 feet missing on here, but that's not the end of the world anyway, they can be replaced easy enough. I thought that was a crack, but it's not. That's really dug into. I might have problems taking that off. But let's get these cleaned and hopefully back in. That cleanup is commencing, shall we say. Right, I've cleaned the board, both sides. I've rubbed down the contacts with a fiberglass pen. Really good. It gets quite a bit of dirt off, but it doesn't get it back to absolutely perfect, but it's a lot better than what it were. It's a hell of a lot better. The rear case, the bottom case as well, right, the line is still there. The rust spots have gone, which has took a hell of a lot of cleaning. Isopropanol doesn't touch it. Nail varnish remover did somehow, but I had to use a blunt screwdriver very delicately over the area to try and get rid of it. I'm not willing to go any further than this to get rid of it. It doesn't look bad, it's on the bottom, it's not a crack. It's obviously where something's leaked out of there and come down the front. any more than this, I'm just end up scratching the case. So I'm happy enough with that. At the moment, with not having a power supply for this, I'm not willing to do any mods on this. I've changed the top of this for a different one that I had. The hole's in the wrong place, but that's not an issue. I don't need to shoot anything in anyway. I cleaned the front part of this up. That was rusty as well. Rusty on the front, that's cleaned up. I could go a little bit more than that, but for the time being, I think that's more than enough. Like I said, without a power supply, I'm a little bit... yeah. This is either I'm just polishing spare parts, or I don't know what. So at the minute, I think we're as far as we need to go with this. I need to get the screws back in on the board and get on to testing. Like if I know how to test with a different power supply, then fine, but I haven't got anything with that configuration whatsoever, so I have to look on eBay and get back to you when I've got a proper power supply sorted out. So I don't think they do one on Future's 8-bit. I know some shops do the one with a standard, just normal +2 grey keyboard, yeah, grey keyboard, what version, which has only got an easy socket on it anyway, so this just isn't... I have to wait and get one of those. I've already got the monitor socket, so I don't need to do a mod for it just yet. So let's get in on when we assemble it and then see what's what, see what we can end up with. Right, there's a quick cut there. I've been putting back together again. I've sussed out, yeah, idiot's mistake. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 screws in the keyboard, and there was a reason for that, because this and this one go through the chassis. So all I need to do is find 6 screws. 1, 2, 3. What that one is it? No. 4, 5, 6. So that's fine. 3 short ones for the front, 3 long ones for the back, and I've got them over here anyway, so I'll put them up here. So we can quite easily now, because I've already screwed this to the plate as well. Done, sorted, happy. So we can put this back together now, actually. That's all we do. See, this is as far as I can go with this, because like I said, I haven't got a power supply. So once I do, we can test it. But it's nice to look inside one of these, because it's completely different to the +3, sorry, the +2. I was thinking of my own wish list then. The +2 that I got, the grey one. And that works spot on, to be honest. All the mods and stuff I've done with that. I mean, there might be some more I need to do with this, like the membrane might want changing, composite mod, but since I've got the video lead, I shouldn't really need that. So 3 cables go in. This one obviously goes in for the tape deck, for the power light and everything else. Just plots in place. It just sits on there. Now, screws on the back. Yeah, that fits fine. Now I'll just screw this back in. And I think we're done for the time being. Screws in, tidy up time. So, like I said, I'm missing 2 feet on the bottom of here. That one is concerning because you can see straight through. I don't have anything else of this. Actually, I had a spare +2, but that went on eBay as parts. Shame I didn't keep that one. I could use that for parts, except for the keyboard. So that's through. The nice new LEDs through there. Everything seems to work, but we're now waiting for a power supply. So let me get back to you as soon as I get a power supply and we can try this out. Now we have another day, another package, and guess what's in here? You can see through that. It's fine. Just rolling this up because I'll use the bubble wrap for something else anyway. This is a the power supply for the +2. Got one off eBay. Cost me a little bit, but hey ho. Untested. That's the problem with it. So it might be okay, might not be okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get a plug on the end of this, get it plugged in and test before this goes anywhere near anything. Actually, I think what I'll do, we'll strip this down, we'll unscrew the screws just to inspect whether or not the capacitors in here are dead. Hopefully they're not, but we'll start there, then put a plug on, and then we'll test the voltages and then get this into the +2 to actually see if all my hard work has actually got anywhere, to be honest, or whether it's just a piece of junk. Okay, plug is on, so we can test it at least. Right, there's 4 screws either corner that come out, which are what's up here already anyway, so lift the lid off. Again, not plugged in. So inside we've got a lot of, it's obviously it's age anyway, so you've got a little bit of rust on top of here. That's perfectly fine. The sponge holding this in place looks quite squashed, but at least it's working. The capacitors, I'm gonna leave them because they do look okay. The fuse looks like it's, yeah, that's not blown. So this is fine for me. Oh, there's another fuse up there. Oh, okay. 2 fuses on this. Very strange. Right, it's a fuse that goes between the heat sink. Ooh. Okay, cables come up. Okay, maybe this is live when it's actually being used. The outer. That's very. No, that can't be. I think they just use red cables all the way through with this. There's a bloody up they have. Red, 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 reds. You know, it looks like what they've just gone through is just a load of red cables. Power comes in at the bottom. Right. For things that are mains voltage, I tend to think, yeah, try and stand a little bit away from them. If they look perfectly fine, like the capacitors, none of them are domed on the top. I'm going to leave them for the time being. So, like I say, it looks good, it's pretty clean. Get the top on, I'll get the screws back in, and what I'll do is I'll plug this in and I'll test the voltage of each of these. There's supposed to be a +5, -5, +12, -12, something like that, I think. I'll look online first, anyway, on the TV, on the computer, and get back to you as soon as I've got this plugged in, ready, and we can start testing. Right, back together, plugged in. This is now in the wall. Let's try and see if this blows up when I just switch it on. Hopefully it doesn't, so hands away just in case. There's no sign of it doing anything. There's no buzzing sound, which is either a bad thing, because I can't hear it working, but it's probably a good thing, because it might actually be a decent transformer. So let me get set up with a multimeter, and let's test what voltage comes out of this. Right, testing can begin. We're switched on. Now, according to the diagrams, these 2 on the left here, I've got this upside down to what the diagram is for the PSU socket. So, bottom right on this one, or top right, bottom left, sorry. Bottom left should be -12 volts, +12, +12, +5, +5, and the centre is the ground, as well as the outer. So I can easily clamp that onto the outside. I don't fuse anything else. This bottom one should be -12. I've got it on negative already, but it's set for 10 volts, but that's obviously gone straight up anyway. Nice steady 12 volts. Next one should be a 12 volts, positive. That's hardly moving. That should be a 12. Give me 1. That should be a 5, that's not giving me anything. Right, so I've actually tested this before now, and it was actually giving me different readings before, so I don't know why it's giving me even different ones. I've got down to 4 volts before for the 12s. But the 12 itself is perfect, the -12 is perfectly fine. Yeah, more like 13, so I think we need to recap this. Yeah, there should be 12 volts. They're just running it. I've got 50 there. Let's put it on for. It's showing 4. This would be 12 volts. The 5 volts are showing 1.5, 1 3/4 maybe. So Something isn't right with this power supply. So either another power supply is needed, or, yeah, give me a few minutes to figure this one out. Right then, we have the +2 with the power supply. I've got up to the +3, which I'm not sure if I've done a video for yet when this is out, but probably will have been, but yeah. This is all back together, this should work fine. I've got the power supply for the +3 in, I've got the coax in, the tellies should be in the right channel. Let's see if this power supply, the +3, because the +2 doesn't, let's see if it works on this. Right, the light's not on, so I'll assume that I've either wired up the light wrong, because the screen is on, but it is not showing any basic. No, nothing. It looks like a loading screen, but it's not, so there's something not right at all with this, so we need to dig into and do some proper fettling. It's a shame it's not worked, but there was no guarantee with this anyway. The absolute worst case is this is going to be spares and stripped down. They were only a 25 quid bargain anyway, so let's see if we can get... I know it's not... This shouldn't work. The composite component, I don't know what it is, composite mod, cable through it. Now this is another one that doesn't work through that cable. The +3 didn't work through this either, so there's either a problem with that or not. So I need to do a lot more work on this. Oh, damn it. So the +2 power supply wants replacing, or at least fettling with. This works fine. Shame really. So I need to strip this back down again. Yeah. Okay. Find an F key. This will be going on in the future anyway, I think. I think we'll stop here because I've got a ton of things to do, and I'd rather prefer to do the +3 because it works. I'm going to do a good strip down on that anyway and come back to this one at a later date. Like I say, it does work through the coax, doesn't work through the cable, which is probably a diode the wrong way around, like the +2 grey. So yeah, turn the TV over to the right channel. Still figuring out how my TV works. It's still showing. No, it's not still showing. That's not showing anything. It's not even plugged in. Yep, dingbat. Yeah, that's better. Still showing the blue border with the black middle, but it's still not doing too well actually. There's keeps doing a blue. The blank screen in the middle keeps going blue, so that's obviously some sort of fault, RAM fault. But we'll get into that and we'll dig into it. At least it powers up, sort of. The cassette player does kind of work. That doesn't sound perfect. We need to oil the motor on there. Pause doesn't go down either. Yeah, we've still got lots of things we need to do with this, so we'll leave this for the time being. Telly off for the time being, and we'll get onto this at a later date. This will be on pile for things to do. You get an eBay bargain and you hope it's going to be really good, but there are occasions where you get something that it's going to be an issue, it's going to be a problem. If this is just a case of it's too much to do, a good advice for anybody, if it's far too much to do, don't do it. If it's beyond, because there was a lot of rust in here, it might have fried a lot of things in here. I've hopefully cleaned it as best I possibly could. There could be something somewhere, could be a chip fault which is replaceable. I don't want to spend a fortune on this. So there has to be a cut-off point of, do you continue or do you not? So at the minute, I'm going to stop playing with this, get on with other things, and we'll come back to this at a later date. Or I'll just fettle in the week and see what I can do, to be honest. So, a little bit of a failure for part 2 on this one anyway, which is a bit of a shame. Don't like to leave on a failure anyway. But it does happen. It happens to all of us. But when I come back with this at a later date, this will be working and we'll play some games on it. or it'd be stripped down as parts and be on eBay. But the F key is going to be a real pain in the arse to get. I can get one from the Plus 3 that I have and just put it over to show you, but that's lying to you anyway. That I've got, look at me, I've got perfectly good keyboard. But you know, it would be for show only for a video. But if I can find an F key, it's not a priority now that I know that the motherboard doesn't fully work, and I think that LED wants swapping round or something with the resistor on there. So we'll get back into this on my own time, so you don't have to sit around waiting for this. Thanks for watching. Hope it's give you a clue that I'm not the most perfect person around, and things do cock up. And yeah, we'll see what happens in the future. It might work perfectly fine when we get around to this in a few weeks' time or something. So yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, like I say, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, up, down, whatever, it's fine, perfectly fine. And I'll see you in the next video with something that actually should work properly. Bye for now.